It's not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
My Lord Duke.
Where the fear is gone, only I will remain.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Beau Oliver, joined today by Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back for a very special edition of Nerd Soup. We are reacting to the very first trailer for Dune, all caps, 2020. And this is a trailer that has been highly anticipated for months, for weeks, for years, really, since we got the first news that Denis Villeneuve, the greatest director of the 21st century, was coming on to direct the most anticipated movie of all time, said by me right now. So this has been just an exciting morning, afternoon for the both of us. A magnificent trailer. Everything that I expected in these 3 minutes.
Yeah, it really was.
I don't want to get hyperbolic, but I think it might be the greatest movie of all time already, but continue.
Well, I mean, we have two different perspectives on this.
Did you see The Worm?
Yeah, I saw The Worm. Okay. Who's voicing it?
Patton Oswalt or Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They're battling it out right now.
We both have two different perspectives on this movie. You obviously read Dune, and I'm a relative newcomer, but what got me excited is Denis Villeneuve, like you said, I think the best director of the past decade, and just the cast, and kind of like my outside knowledge of what this film is going to be about, what the book is about, and all that kind of adds up in my brain as just my most anticipated movie, probably since Endgame.
Yeah, you said going into this video that as a newcomer, it drew you in. You were already excited for it, but the world building alone in this trailer. And as someone who read the book, I thought, wow, did they do a better job at building this world in this trailer than they did in the book? I mean, no disrespect to Frank Herbert, genius, and I love the book, but that's what floored me about this trailer is that the scale seemed massive.
Yes, it did. It looks incredible. And even in that pre-Q&A, Timothée Chalamet said that he only filmed 2 scenes in front of a green screen, that everything else is practical, and that's truly incredible.
Yeah, and Denis Villeneuve, he did the same thing for Blade Runner in 2049. He made an effort to go more practical.
Yes, and you can tell that even in this trailer, like the decision to shoot everything in the desert, use all practical, and still keep this massive scale. It truly looks like it's just going to be a technical wonder as well as just a fantastic film.
Yeah, and the look of the ships, the look at the soldiers, the outfits, the technology in this movie. The technology, it does lend itself to more practicality because I was explaining to you before that in the Dune universe, they're not allowed to use computers. So it is sci-fi, it is beyond our technology, but there are some limitations. So it's really about the human elements, and that's what this story does tackle. It's kind of man and woman in the dunes with Paul and his family. That's what this trailer shows you, that he does a great job with the voiceover, Timothée Chalamet, talking about how this is a massacre, that this could possibly end his family line. House Atreides, from top to bottom, they all looked fantastic. All of these actors.
Yeah, and also just hearing them talk about their roles and the movie itself, you can always get a sense of how actors discuss what they're in. If they're kind of just, doing hitting all the beats they have to, or it's something that they can really appreciate and something they're proud of.
Yeah, that one iconic scene when Paul is talking to the Reverend Mother, being played by Charlotte Rampling. That's the one scene from the books that everyone couldn't wait. They released some images of this scene a couple days ago before the trailer dropped, and their interactions, their back and forth, is really what brings you into the trailer. But I thought that scene was fantastic, and Chalamet's performance, like I said, his voiceover was great. His reaction to putting his hand in the box. What's in the box? Pain, this time. I guess it's always pain.
Yeah.
So that was great. And Oscar Isaac, I think he was the perfect casting for Duke Leto. And also Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, the Bene Gesserit. That pairing, raising a Timothée Chalamet type character, it's just picture perfect.
My most anticipated character, just from the name alone, was Duncan Idaho.
Duncan Idaho, yeah.
Did not disappoint.
Great action sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Duncan Idaho, and of course it's Jason Momoa. The dude is charismatic as hell, so. And once again, this trailer does such a good job of establishing the relationship that these characters have to our main character, Paul, whether it's a glance between Paul and his father, or Duncan Idaho all excited to see him running up, picking him up, the interactions with Paul and Gurney, and also just the settings, the 2 main settings of this story. The first planet, Caladan, which was the home to House Atreides, a water planet with greeneries and thriving wildlife. And like Paul says in the trailer, his house is given a new planet, Arrakis, or nicknamed Dune, an unruly desert wasteland that has incredible riches in the form of spice, but we see how it doesn't necessarily go according to plan in this trailer. But the action sequences, when they did the combat, when they had the Holtzman shields, and that's a big piece of technology in the Dune universe, that looked great. It looked like such an upgrade when you compare it to the scene of Paul and Gurney Halleck fighting in the 1984 movie. I love you, David Lynch, and I love you, Patrick Stewart and Kyle MacLachlan, but this looks so much better. It was quicker. Obviously, he seems to just be improving as a director with each movie, and each of his movies are just so good, it's just unbelievable to me.
Well, yeah, he's able to attack almost blockbuster-like large-scale movies in such a nuanced and truly genius way, where it's more than just an action war movie, which people might sense from the trailer. He's able to craft such a genuine story around all of the bigger moments, and I just can't wait to see it.
Right, yeah, that's a good point. He makes a nuanced blockbuster, so those action moments aren't as important. Blade Runner 2049, there's that scene at the end. That's kind of the one action scene. But it looks like the action, the CQC, especially in that scene with Gurney Halleck and Paul, it's an upgrade from his past movies. That he is kind of taking some flavor from maybe some of the Marvel movies or DC and throwing it into his.
And he's a master of tension, too. So yes. I can't wait to see how he implements some of the tense moments, which just from getting a sense of this world, there are probably many.
Right. Yeah, and another minor spoiler for the book, but going into Dune, you should know that the most important commodity in this world is spice, and that's House Atreides is given Dune, real name Arrakis, this new planet, and it's heavy with spice, which is the most valuable substance in the galaxy, and it also gives its users the ability to see past, present, future, and Paul gets into that in this trailer, that he was a character who was inherently born with this ability already, so you can make up in your own mind what's going to happen when he starts to take the spice. And the spice is something that it relates to the Fremen, the native people living on Dune before House Atreides gets there, who's played by Javier Bardem as Stilgar. We see Zendaya as Chani, who eventually becomes a love interest for Paul. Once again, we see them embracing in this trailer. So that was all great, and they look fantastic as the natives. They've got the bodysuits. Those bodysuits allow them to keep water. It basically just recycles the water in your body, sweat, fluids, anything.
Like a camel suit.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep you alive. So it's man versus the elements in this movie, and it's right there in the title, here in the trailer.
The fits are incredible already. I mean, they're rocking everything.
Top to bottom, the beards.
Ooh. Chalamet's hair? Come on.
I just want to...
Can we spend a couple minutes on that?
Just want to rustle it. Just want to put my hand through it.
We got a couple looks at Dave Bautista's character. I'm not sure who they are, but they look mean.
Right, yeah, the two villains, Dave Bautista and Stellan Skarsgård. Dave Bautista's character is called Glusu Raban, who is the nephew of Baron Harkonnen. And House Harkonnen are the natural rivals of House Atreides. Think House Stark as your heroes, and House Lannister. And we got that brief look of Stellan Skarsgård, and Denis mentioned a few months ago that the Baron in the books he kind of teeters the line of caricature, and he wanted to give the Baron in the movies more of an edge. So if you want to do that, the best guy you cast is Stellan Skarsgård. And just from that one line, I forget what it is exactly, so I'm going to wipe him out. He just seems pissed, And he's brilliant. Stellan Skarsgård as the villain, that's the guy you get. And I said, I tweeted before that Bautista is becoming Villeneuve's Max von Sydow. That's his muse. He puts him in every film.
Yeah.
Oh, he's starting to. I love that for Bautista.
Yeah, he's whipping up a nice little filmography for himself.
And we also see it's the first time in action we see Sharon Duncan Brewster as Light Keynes, who's also a very important character in these books, an advisor to Duke Leto, the ecologist of Dune. So this is a character who understands how Dune works and becomes a very important advisor to House Atreides. We didn't see Stephen McKinley Henderson as Thorfinn Hawat. That was unfortunate.
I think we saw some set photos and behind the scenes, so nothing in this trailer.
And we also get the first look at Chang Chen as Dr. Wellington Yu, another advisor for House Atreides. Didn't see him in the set photos, so it was cool to see him in this trailer. And just to mention, Rebecca Ferguson playing Lady Jessica, my favorite character from the books, the Bene Gesserit. They're so fascinating, and she has such an interesting and complicated role in this story. Her allegiances to the Bene Gesserit, a political association that only allows women. And they're basically seen throughout the universe as witches because they have magical abilities. They train their entire lives to gain these abilities. So Paul's got the ancestry here. He's got his magically gifted mother and his royal father with the royal ancestry.
It's not a bad match.
Yeah, so there are a lot of great themes here. I mean, for people who like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, obviously Star Wars, it's kind of it's a mixture of all that. You're going to get your politics, you're going to get your sci-fi. It's definitely high fantasy, just from the look of it. And it's taking itself super seriously. And when you do that, you need to look like, you need the world building. You need the big budget and the practicality to bring all of that to life.
Yeah, definitely, and it's shot by Greg Fraser, which, I mean, it looks fantastic. Just from the trailer, you can get a sense of the look of the film, and I think it's going to be visually amazing, especially with those natural sets and landscapes. It's going to make for some incredible shots.
Yeah, and Chalamet is so good at looking off into the distance.
Yeah.
And you could tell that he's got a lot on his mind. He's good at portraying that. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yeah, get like a nice 2-minute just look out into the distance.
Yeah, that's going to be the
right
thumbnail.
in the middle of the film.
And I think we should finish this reaction by talking about the star of the trailer, the worm, the sandworm at the end. Incredible.
What's he doing? Just chilling?
He's chilling, man. Those sandworms. Well, one of the cool things about
There's more of them?
yeah, they're all over the desert.
Nope.
So that's part of Paul and House Atreides adapting to this planet is figuring out the sandworms. How do you defeat them? How do you avoid them? And a problem they run into is
Call
that
SpongeBob in the gang.
exactly.
Took out the Alaskan bullworm.
The Holtzman effect, the technology they use for their shields, attracts sandworms. So it's not great. Here's this new planet. I know your main technology attracts these deadly creatures, but good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I would just simply put an end to them, but I guess I'm just built different.
All right, that is the trailer reaction for Dune 2020. What an exciting day for Dune fans all over the world, and for new Dune fans who are watching this trailer, getting invested, possibly reading the books before the movie. It's going to be an exciting few months leading up to this movie, and hopefully it's in theaters for us. I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, this is definitely IMAX Thursday opening night.
I will drive to Australia to see this.
Should we just start bombarding Warner Brothers with screener emails?
Hopefully Warner Brothers doesn't copyright this video. It's going to be a black screen. Watch the trailer on your phone, kids.